Hi, my name is Katie Matichek, and my favorite movie is The First Parent Trap.
My name is Megan Demo, and my favorite movie is Lion King.
Hi, my name is Ben Jessup, and my favorite movie is Avatar.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to my podcast, where I answer questions about, and generally vibe about movies.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm really excited for this episode because we are going to be answering the question, what makes a good remake? Already existing movies remade and reimagined. Something that I really like. I'm a fan of a lot of remakes, but not a lot of people are. Remakes have been a thing for a very long time. Sometimes movies end up with more than one remake, or those remakes have sequels to them. Interesting. And a long-running franchise will probably eventually always get a remake of the original. So, yeah, like I said, I'm usually a fan of remakes, but a lot of people aren't. And almost everyone always prefers the original. And even Scream 4 talked about the concept of remakes as part of their movie, which is really cool. So I think successfully transitioning a remake into something new is a great way to make it good. Remakes works best when they do something new or exciting with a story that we haven't seen before. It's really boring or unoriginal when we just end up watching the same movie again, especially if it's almost word for word, like the Disney Lion King remake. All it is almost word for word. It's the same movie, basically, just CGI, and it's really hard for me to sit through that because it's the same thing that I've known for a long time, just CGI, and that doesn't really excite me that much. Disney was just, taking the success of the original and just did the same thing again. And I'm sure it was successful also, but it doesn't make it enjoyable. So, yeah. I think what makes a remake great, or one way to do a great remake, would be remaking it into live action after previously being animated. Like I mentioned, Disney does this a lot. They're going to be doing a remake for every single one of their hand-drawn movies that they've ever had, and there's almost all of them by now. We still have a few left, but, they've done a lot of them. A few a year, which is super cool. So, yeah, a movie that we grew up with as animated can be super cool to see in this new live-action form, redone again. It can really have great visuals and really spruce up everything and bring the life into the story. So, yeah. Like I said, Disney remakes are my main topic here. And, I've seen all of them. And something I've really noticed with Disney live-action remakes is that each movie tries to do kind of a different version of a remake and does something different. Like I said, The Lion King just does everything word for word, the same thing again. Maleficent, like I said in the last episode, kind of flips the story from the ground up, which is really cool. Alice in Wonderland, I think, really dives into world building and really builds on the world. The Cinderella remake just tells a new story. The Beauty and the Beast remake is mostly the same, but still new visuals, new ideas. And the songs in all these movies are changed in different ways too, or cut out, subtle things. And most of these are successful. Some not so much. But I do think that's cool that they're doing a remake for all of them. Yeah, really, really cool. So let's talk about horror movie remakes, because believe it or not, this genre seems to love them a lot, because almost all famous or classic or well-known horror movies, even lesser-known ones, have all been remade. The genre has been through many phases. The remake genre is one of them. It's been kind of around the 2000s. And like Disney, some of them try different forms of remaking. Most of them are pretty new, try to tell a new story, and some of the remakes even get sequels. I want to talk about the Child's Play remake. Child's Play has always been, like a really scary story about a possessed doll, but the remake that the studio that owned the original movie did without, really having any of the team from the other movies in it, completely just like told a new story that, in my opinion, did not have to be associated with Child's Play. It's just about a rogue AI now. Chucky's an AI that goes haywire, and that's all it is. The only thing that's the same is characters' names. Everything else has changed. The whole personality, the whole plot, everything's different. And honestly, I think this just could have been its own thing. It did not need to be associated with an already existing franchise. But yeah, just the studio owned the original, so they were allowed to do this. But they had only made the original. There's so many other ones, but just the original studio was able to do this. And, that's kind of a letdown and a downside to remakes, in opinion, at least for me. So, a lot of old movies are commonly remade, and these can really introduce people to these iconic stories that they never really grew up with or knew about. For me, I got into The Parent Trap because of the new one, and I never even know I never knew there was an old one, because this modern take that appealed more to me got me into it. And I've seen the old one now, and honestly, I think I prefer the new one just because it appeals to me more. So, yeah. Usually, though, people always prefer the original. Like I say, they want what it always was and used to be. So, yeah. But remaking old movies can really bring new people into it, new generations, new groups of people, and it can just be a more modern telling. And yeah, like I said, I think I usually prefer the more modern versions. So yeah. Alright, so despite everything I said, remakes aren't totally bad, and they're all really successful. People want to see movies that they've grown to love reimagined in different ways. So I really do like remakes, and with all this in my mind, I would love to make a remake of my own someday, of a movie that I really like. I've thought about that a lot. Sadly, many franchises remakes are usually their last movie. That's also a downside to remakes, but I do want movies to continue to be reinvented, and whether that means remakes or something else, I think they, should be reinvented. That's a really cool idea. So, yeah, I think that's it. Again, pretty short one, but thank you for listening.